Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know what today is? Monday morning chats with Zach. Zach is me. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. My weekend was good. I got a chance to go to a conference, a clinical law conference, where I was able to network with other clinical law professors in the Mid-Atlantic region. It was amazing. And I got a chance to learn so many different techniques on how to become a better professor. And so I was telling my colleagues, like, I look forward to the fall semester where I can implement everything I've learned to my class next semester. So I'm really excited about that. And I had my aunt and uncle that got a chance to visit my house for the first time, and I made dinner for them. So that was great. And we watched a movie together. So it was just great just being around family. You know, family is important to me, and I just got a chance to spend time with them because I don't see them that often. So I just try to think about what I wanted to say, and I just finished my therapy session. My therapist is dope. So this book is called The Gift of Imperfections. This is the book that I'm reading. And it says, let go of who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. And so I just try to figure out, like, what would I want to talk about today? And I will say, one, to really... can you embrace who you are, right? Do you know who you are? Do you know your triggers? Do you know what makes you sad? So I'm going to read something from here, and I'm going to just give you something I think that can help you. So this book talks about what does it mean to live wholeheartedly. Now, I'm not finished this book, but I'm reading this with my therapist. And the good thing about my therapist is that she's a Christian. So we're able to recite scriptures during our sessions. And I let her know, like, look, these are the things, like, when I'm looking for a therapist, they have to be a Black woman and Christian. That's it. I don't want someone that says, hey, I'm spiritual. No, I need to know that you're a Christian. That is important for me. So I'm going to tell you what I've read. And I actually posted this on my story. Let me see. Let me go to it. Men and women who live wholeheartedly do indeed dig deep. They just do it in a different way. When they're exhausted and overwhelmed, they're deliberate in their thoughts and behaviors through prayer, meditation, or simply setting their intentions, right? Setting their intentions. Inspired to make new and different choices. Going, they take action, right? So that is the acronym for DEEP. And so this book, it talks about, like, the preface talks about the different journeys you have in life and how those journeys, it really shape who you are, right? Your childhood journey. Maybe you had a midlife crisis journey. Maybe you experienced some type of loss. Like, that journey makes you who you are, right? And so when I was reading this book, I was like, okay, what makes me me? Like, what are things that I realize that I do? And I want to know, is it healthy? So this book starts talking about, like, do you realize you do the same thing over and over again? Or do you realize, like, you're making changes? Like, what is the thing that you do all the time? You don't understand why. And so when I was reading this book, I just started to think about, okay, why do I do certain things? So I said this in a previous video, that if I decide to walk away from somebody, especially in, like, a romantic relationship, my goal is not to see this person again, right? So it's that one song, like, if I never see your face again, I don't mind. And I really don't mind. And I try to figure out, I was thinking about it for a while, and I'm over it now. Why do I do that, right? Why do I make this conscious decision in my mind that I don't want to be around this person at all? Now, you can be intentional about where you're at, but what happens if you run into this person in the supermarket, right? What happens if you run into this person, I don't know, on your daily jog? Like, what happens? How do you deal with that? And I realized, like, for me, there's no linear line from hurt to healing, but you have to really understand your hurt and forgive yourself in order to heal. And what I realized is that the reason why I didn't want to be around these people is because I didn't want them to open up a wound that I thought was healed, right? So in other words, I didn't want to be around them because I thought, like, hey, this is going to remind me of the hurt or the guilt or the pain that they caused me. And when I told my therapist that, she said that's a shame tactic, right? it's like you try to, like, you're shameful of this, so you try to remove yourself from those spaces. However, what you fail to realize is that when you do that, you're not allowing yourself to really heal. And I said, yeah, I realized that. And so once I like made the decision, like, hey, I really want to heal, it changed my perspective on people. So even if things didn't work out, it was just a matter of, hey, we don't have to be friends, but I forgive myself. And your behavior has nothing to do with me. It's everything to do with you. And once I started to really think that way, it really changed my perspective. But again, this is about really knowing who you are, right? Knowing who you are, knowing what you're able to tolerate, and being intentional. I told my therapist today that I don't like going to ratchet places. That's just not who I am. And now I will go to like a somewhat ratchet place or a hole in the wall place to watch football games. But once the game is over, I'm out, right? I'm out. That's being intentional, going there for one purpose and leaving. I told my therapist, I said, if I go somewhere and it feels like lust, I have to go. And so it's really being intentional about the spaces that I'm in, because I know the energy that I want to be around, and I want to be around like-minded people. And it's not saying that I'm better than people, but it's just a matter of, hey, I know the spaces that I want to be in, and I just can't be everywhere. And so because of that, I find myself where, hey, I may not go different places, or hey, I may not get invited to the parties all the time, because one, if my friends really know me, they know that, hey, that's not Sakina's space, right? And that's absolutely okay. It's not my space. But it's really knowing who you are. And the question I have for you guys, like, do you really know who you are? Do you know what makes you tick? I asked this person a question, and I was like, I really want to know, like, what makes you tick? What is it? And this person said, if I'm really complicated, like, don't try to figure me out. And once this person said that, I was like, this person is not what I want. And the next question I had in my mind is like, what is this person hiding, right? What does this person not want me to see, right? And it's really like, when you really start to know who you are, you can actually see people for who they are. Like, you can actually see it. You can see it in their actions. You can see it in their nonverbal communication. You could just see it by being in their energy. Like, okay, I get it. I get it. I had a conversation with my brother, and I said, how I knew that I was taking the right steps towards healing is, at first, I addressed things that affected me as a child, like forgiving my parents. So no one can ever say, oh, like, you need to heal. No, actually, I did. And healing is a continuous thing. It's not something that's just going to happen overnight. But I make that decision continuously, even when it hurts, right? Because healing is not supposed to be pretty, right? It's like these up and down emotions that you have. And I just make that decision to say, hey, I just want to be better. I just want to be better. But can you really sit down and say, hey, these are the things I feel triggered by, or these are the things that really bother me, and can you really address it? And it's so sad that I see people that's on social media, and social media allows you to create this life that may not even exist, right? You are able to live this facade. You're able to put on maybe the $5,000 jacket. You're able to put all these things on to make people see you how you want to be seen. But when you take all that stuff off, you are broken, right? You are broken. I love doing videos because this is one way for me to show my authentic self. I want to get this Monday morning chats up and running to something bigger, and I know that it can be. And I also do Tillman tax services. But I am not this rich person. Yeah, I make over 6 figures. That's fine, but I still got taxes I need to pay. And I still shop at a thrift store. I like to shop on a clearance rack. That is who I am. And I am okay with that. And if you don't like it, you can kick rocks, right? And so it's just really just saying, hey, I know who I am, and I don't have to be anybody for anyone to fit in. I want to fit in the spaces that are meant for me. And so I go in my prayer closet. I pray about things that I want. I pray about the things that I don't have. And the thing that I talked to my therapist about, I was like, sometimes when you do pray to God, it's this idea, okay, what's happening next, right? What's happening next? Like, when would I get my next breakthrough? When would this happen, right? I prayed for this. When would this happen? And what God was telling me is that, hey, there's blessings in the unknown. There's blessings in things that you don't see coming. And sometimes things will happen to your surprise. And I was like, okay, all right, God, I hear you talking. But when my therapist was saying, like, we listened to Sarah Jakes Roberts, and it's not about just what's happening next. It's about who you will become. So who I will become, I got to be mindful of. Like, I know who I am, but who I become, that's even more powerful. So I have to be mindful of the people that I'm surrounded with. I have to be mindful about the places I go to. Just because I get invited doesn't mean I have to go. And if I do go, in the moment I feel like something is not right, I have to leave. The person who you become, who are you around, right? Are you around like-minded people? Are you the only person that think the way you think? Because sometimes you could be easily persuaded to go opposite, to go left. If you're trying to become this person, who are around you that's going to push you back? Do you want that energy around you, or you want to be around like-minded people that can get you to where you need to become, right? And I was just sharing with my therapist that I kept off over 20 pounds. And I started my weight loss journey last year in March. And I was with my trainer for like 4 months. And I've been mindful of what I eat, and that really changed my whole perspective on health and wellness. And one of the things that really helped was I had an accountability partner, my trainer, and I had a group. And so if I was like running late, I'll get a text message like, hey, where are you? You better come on. And then when I come late, and then we had this pact where my trainer was like, hey, if one of you guys come late, you guys going to have to do an extra lap up the steps. So we held each other accountable, like, hey, you got 5 minutes, girl. You got 5 minutes. You need to come. Nobody not trying to do these extra steps. And it's like, you need that, right? So if you're trying to become this person, right? If you're trying to become this person, who are you around to get you there? My group really helped me lose weight. I'm not trying to go back to being almost 160 pounds. I'm not trying to do that. I weigh 135 pounds and I'm proud. And I'm not trying to go back to old ways. Like, my highest weight was 175 pounds in high school. And I don't want that. And so who are you around, right? Who are you around to get you to who you will become? That's important. And so this book, like, really embracing who you are. Like, do you really know who you are? When I hear people say, I have this safe space, I want people to create a safe space, I hear people saying it all the time because it sounds so easy. But what the hell does that mean? Like, what does it mean to say this is a safe space? I could tell you what it means for me. A safe space for me is someone that is honest, right? Give it to me straight, no chaser. And I mean that. And I think that helped by me having brothers in my house where I had to be tough. I used to fight with my brothers. I used to fight their friends. Like, I am a tough person. And people don't know, like, growing up, I was like a tomboy. I would get my hair done. My hair was long, but I wore Air Maxes. Hair was sweat out after playing with my brother friends. Hair was sweat out. I still had that girly part to me, but I was a tomboy too. But I want someone that's honest. Like, what creates a safe space for me is honesty. Like, be honest. What creates a safe space for me is loyalty. Being loyal. I need to know that I can trust you. Are you impeccable with your word? Do you mean what you say and say what you mean? That creates a safe space for me. What doesn't create a safe space is someone that is dishonest. Their words and actions do not align. Like, I don't need that, right? I don't need that. And when you know who you are, it's easy. Like, I'll think about all the things I want in my life. So when I'm talking to people, whether it's friends or guys or whatever, I'm like, okay, this can go somewhere. Or I can say no. And when you know who you are, you could be okay in a waiting season, even though it could be impatient. So you could be waiting for a new job, waiting for a new house, waiting for a new car, whatever. But you know that it's going to come. And so I remember I had to tell somebody, I'll share this. So I don't like really going into my love life or personal life, but I'll share this. So last year, I met someone, right? And one of the biggest things for me that's non-negotiable, that's a big deal for me, a big factor, is that someone has to be fun, right? I don't like lame people. Like, people think because I teach and I'm like this nerd, which I am. I love to read. I like to have fun. On the weekdays, weekends, like, I like to have fun. Like, there's a time to be a serious professional, and there's a time to, like, get things done. And I do that. Guy, like, flowers, come to my house, like, trunk full of flowers, go out. We would converse about different things. He was funny. I felt protected around him. I'm not sure because he had a gun, but I knew he not to fight too. So I knew that if something pop up, he got my back. And this person was a good person, right? Wasn't a bad person. But I remember last year, like, praying, saying, God, I want a husband. And I wrote these things down in my journal, and I prayed about it in my prayer closet, because I have a prayer closet. And the one thing I realized is that you can meet good people, but it doesn't mean they're good for you to go into a different season in your life. And once I started really getting a chance to know somebody, that's why it's important to know somebody. And got a chance to know this person, I realized, like, we're not aligned. And I had to have that tough conversation. And this person thought I was scared to be with him. And I was like, it's not that I'm scared to be with you. It's not a scary thing. Like, I can be committed and I could be in a monogamous relationship. That's nothing scary to me. But what's scary to me is being with someone that I'm not evenly yoked with. That's the scary thing for me. And how you're able to recognize that is to really know who you are and what you need. And this is not what I need. And this person tried to convince me over and over again, like, hey, like, we could make this work. And I'm like, you can't force something that's not meant to be. That's equivalent to riding a bike, right? And you have one flat. You still are able to ride the bike, but you can't go far. You can't go far. Because eventually, that flat tire will get super weak. And then that other back tire, it may get a flat too. And once you get two flats, you're stuck. I had a conversation with someone, and so that happened last year. And I had a conversation with one person where it was like one of these things where it's like, in order for you to heal, you have to confront the things that hurt you or disappointed you. And I told somebody, like, hey, like everything was off to a great start with this one person, like, a while ago. And it just kind of like, I'm not riding the rims. That's not safe. So this one person was like, hey, person sent me a message about ghosting, right? And I'm like, I don't think I ghosted this person. Like, I don't think I did that. So we actually met up, had a conversation about it. And this person was like, really telling me their struggles. And what I have found is that most guys, like, whether it's platonic or romantic, like, they really open up and, like, start sharing with me. Sometimes you overshare. I'm like, okay, it's fine. And this person was telling me about their own struggles and their own setbacks. And I said, that's fine. And this person was like, hey, can we start over? Like, can we do this and do that? And I was like, you told me the things that you didn't want in your life. And that's not it. And when you are around people where they don't align, you have to ask yourself, what's making you stay, right? Because if you have to be intentional about your space, you got to be intentional about the people that you're around. I never forget, I told one person, I was like, you don't want the same things that I want. Yeah, you can wine and dine me. That's fine. Like, you could take me to the most fanciest restaurants. You could do this. You could buy me all this stuff. But what purpose does it serve if this is not going anywhere, right? And for that reason, because we're not aligned, you can't get much attention from me. Yeah, we could be cool. It could be surface level, but it's not going to go far. And I'm serious about that. And so it's important to like really be intentional. And that comes with knowing who you are. I find some people that they're so afraid to be by themselves that they will just accept any type of thing. Right? They will accept any type of love. They will accept any type of attention just so they cannot be by themselves. But sometimes when you are in isolation and you are by yourself, you get a chance to really know who you are if you really stand still and really listen to whoever your higher power is, like whoever you believe in. Like I believe in God. And so when you sit still, you're able to say like, this ain't what I want. And that's okay. That's okay. And so, do you know who you are? Can you embrace who you are? Can you embrace the good, the bad, the ugly about your story? Because everybody got ugly parts. Can you really embrace who it is? Are you able to see the same patterns? And can you say, hey, this is not healthy? One of the most powerful things I did in therapy was almost 2 years. It was 2 years ago. Yeah, in 2021. I told my therapist what I did. And I said, is this considered a toxic behavior? And if so, what can I do to change it? What can I do to make this more of a healthy thing? Because I don't want this to be something where it's continuous and I'm not recognizing my own stuff, right? Like I'm not recognizing the things I'm doing wrong or the part that I'm playing. Can you tell me if this is considered toxic? And if so, what can I do to be better? And I never thought I would say that before. And that was so powerful for me because sometimes we get at certain places and we're like, you know what, I am who I am. People got to accept me for who I am. But should people really accept your badass behavior and just be okay with that because that's who you are? No. And so I just would really want you to think about the things that you're doing. Like that's, for example, like if you realize you're in and out of a relationship and they end the same way, sometimes you can't point the person to the woman or the man. Sometimes you got to point the finger to yourself and say, hey, this is me. Like I remember some relationships, but I realized it was me. Like I was the person. Like this person was serious and I was scared of what was to come. Like I was scared. But I knew I wasn't in the same headspace. Like I remember meeting guys when I was in my 20s and they wanted to get married and I wasn't ready for that. I just wasn't ready. I was still like trying to graduate from law school, pass the bar, and trying to get myself together. Like trying to get myself together. And I just realized that journey made me realize like it's okay not to be ready. That's absolutely okay. But honestly, at that point in my life, I didn't have the courage to say it. And I remember my dad telling me, like, Sakina, you are a beautiful girl. And I'm not just saying it because you're my daughter. But if you're with somebody and he's not who you want, you need to tell him. Don't ever lead a man on. And I remember my dad telling me that, like, after, I want to say, like in my late 20s, my dad told me that, like, hey, like he told me like before I went to law school, he was like, a lot of guys are going to hit on you, right? You about to become a lawyer, you're in law school. That's really attractive. Men like smart women. And then the conversation changed once I graduated and like started getting in my career. Like, hey, don't lead nobody on. But that's all about embracing who you are and saying, you know what? I know who I am. I know my setbacks. I know my weaknesses. But if you embrace who you are and you know who you are and you know what you need, be intentional to be around people that you know that can help you. That you know can help you. Are you ashamed of the person that you are? If so, why? Why are you ashamed? What makes you ashamed? We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I made that comment about being shameful about, not being around people that hurt me. But some people that hurt other people, they are ashamed of being around people that they hurt. So if you hurt somebody in the past, and if you see them, can you acknowledge that you like messed up? Can you apologize to somebody? That's owning up to your own faults. Because a lot of times some people try to bury it really deep, especially those that hurt people, because it's like, I don't want that to happen to me. Because the hurt that other people cause other people, they don't never want that to happen to them. So are you able to like say sorry? Are you able to say, you know what, I messed up? But when you dig deep, when you're deliberate, you're intentional, and you go and you make action, you're able to say, this is who I am. These are the things I need to change. I'm going to embrace it. And I'm going to be happy for who I am and not who people want me to be. Like, there's so many Instagram stars on here. I'm not trying to be a star at all. I just want to spread the word about tax. And I want to try to motivate people to be their authentic self. I'm not perfect at all. I don't live in a $1 million house. I don't have $1 million. I'm fine. Like I said before, I shop on a clearance rack. Not because I'm broke. I just know like what I like, and that's me. Like, I'm intentional. Like, I don't need to spend $1,000 on a shoe. Like, that's just not me. I want it. If I spend that type of money, I want to spend it on things that's going to feed me. All right. So I'll spend it on books. I'll spend it on conferences. And it's no shame to people that do that. Hey, do you. Do what makes you happy. Like, if that's who you are, embrace it. But if I know that I spent money, like a lot of money on things that I know that's not me, I'm not embracing who I am. So I'll keep sharing these things about this book. And I highly recommend that you buy it. It's called The Gifts of Imperfections by Brené Brown. Your guide to a wholehearted life. And my prayer to everybody is to live a wholehearted life, to really embrace who you are. Don't worry about how other people see you. I just want to know how you see yourself. How do you see yourself? That's all I have. It is Monday, so I would like to just shout out to all the dope men out there. You are amazing. You are great. You are phenomenal. I hope and pray that you're able to be around people that create safe spaces for you, because you deserve it. I hope that you are able to live a wholehearted life. Your mistakes doesn't define who you are. They're just a part of who you are. But you can always change. You can always change. The life that you have and the life that you want is based on one thing: making a choice to say, I want better. The choice is yours. To everybody here that's listening, I wish you much success. I wish that you have a great, blessed day. And I just hope that you just never forget, like, you are really amazing. You are really amazing. And if you guys like this, like what I'm doing, if you could share this to other people, I have a YouTube channel. Like, share this word. I just really want to just really encourage people the best way I can, right? The best way I can. Now I had to get some more work done. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful for you, and I hope that this fed your soul in some type of way. All right, guys, take care. Have a great Monday. Have a phenomenal week. And just remember that you are really amazing. You're really amazing. Take care.